God of War has been the best-selling game for 5 weeks in a row now, at least here in the UK. But now, there's a new usurper. And it's not God of War right off its throne. And that king's name? Detroit Become Human.
So according to GfK chart tracker, Detroit Become Human was the top selling game in UK box charts last week, bringing an end to God of War's 5-week reign. While exact sales figures are unknown, Detroit's sales were roughly in line with the sales of Quantic Dream's last big game, Beyond Two Souls. But the charts don't take into account digital downloads, so considering the growth of digital sales in the industry over the past few years, Detroit has almost definitely sold more than Beyond Two Souls. However, GfK say Detroit sales were well behind of those of 2010's Heavy Rain, which sold almost 4 times more boxed copies than Detroit. Also in the charts is Microsoft's exclusive State of Decay 2, which sold around 4,000 fewer boxed copies than Detroit, putting it in second place. The rest of the top 5 is rounded out with Dark Souls Remastered at number 3, FIFA 18 in 4th, and God of War drops down to a lowly 5th. Deal with it. That was my bit.
Yeah, lowly one.
It's time to talk about the game of the year now, Detroit Become Human. Obviously God of War is God of No More, and Detroit Become Human is the best game this year, this century, the best game of the century. Isn't it?
This has gone way off piste.
I'm just seeing how people I can trigger. I'm just seeing how they're already. You can always see the fanboys triggered in the comments already. No matter what we say from here on in, people are going to be upset with this because Detroit Become Human is a very divisive game for one reason or another. Some people love it, some people hate it. I absolutely love the game. I've played it over the weekend, and I couldn't recommend it highly enough. Although some people just don't like the fact that there's very little gameplay in it. It's a David Cage game, and choices all lead around the same path, which is not true, by the way, because it's the most choices matter game ever. Can you put that in the box?
The floor is yours, mate. You just take it.
There you go. So that's the state of the sales charts right now. And by the way, Become Human got to number 1 with only 3 or 4 days worth of sales. Is it released on Thursday? So it does count the whole week. So with all the other games having pretty much a full week. When did?
Well, actually, Dark Souls Remastered came out on a Friday. State of Decay 2, I'd be surprised if Detroit wasn't top this week, and it would be bad if it wasn't. And I'll tell you why.
Would, yeah.
State of Decay 2 is a Game Pass game, so people buying that physical are probably buying the limited editions, the collector's editions, and stuff like that. And Dark Souls Remastered is a nearly full price port of a 7-year-old game that added hardly anything. So Detroit Become Human is a AAA, great looking game. Got big interest, big market. For it to not have come first would have been a shock. So not really surprised, and well done to Quantic Dream and David Cage for smashing Dark Souls.
It's a shame for God of War, however, because if they'd have hit that 6-week run-in, they would have matched the record in the UK sales charts that The Last of Us set back when that was released. So it couldn't quite make that it couldn't quite equal the record that The Last of Us did. But God of War, hands down, it's an awesome game in itself. The fact that it's 5th, we'll just have to deal with it, won't we?
Yes. Also this week, PUBG Corp, the developer behind PlayerUnknown's Battleground, have admitted they've fallen short on performance improvements. In a Steam post, PUBG Corp said they failed to properly address complaints about the game's performance, and they've outlined a roadmap for future development. PUBG Corp say they have 3 priorities: performance, server optimization, and cheating. To improve performance, PUBG Corp say they will improve the lighting system and the way vehicles move across the map, both of which currently impact the game's performance. The developers also say they will push these fixes as soon as they're done, so players don't have to wait for the major patches. As for server improvements, PUBG Corp say they will optimize character animations and rendering, which will make the beginning of matches much smoother and reduce network latency. Finally, PUBG Corp say they've made great progress in anti-cheat functionality, such as a new encryption method, which makes it hard for hackers to exploit the game. PUBG Corp also say they've begun taking serious legal action against the people responsible for creating the hacks and Epic Games. That's all I got for this one. Apart from, because we did it last week where we covered it about the sound issues and stuff like that, and they forgot to mention it in the patch notes, and they apologised for that. And then since then they've come out and they've apologised for more stuff, and they've added a lot more transparency, which is something people have been asking for a long time. Also, these major patches kind of come out every month or two, and rather than make people wait and bundle them all together, any improvements to any of the above that I've just mentioned, it's just going to come out as soon as it's done. So there's no more waiting for these sort of patch release dates that they've just set for whatever reason, which is cool. If you're still on the PUBG bandwagon, you're not getting slammed by cheaters, and you've not moved on to Fortnite, and you're still there holding strong, I'm sure this is great news for you.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're learning their lesson. Obviously, we commented on one of the previous videos how inexperienced the development team were, and perhaps that didn't work in their favour, launching a game in the state that it was and not being open and honest and transparent and delivering improvements at the rate that they should have been doing. But hopefully from now on they can take that as a lesson and go forward and deliver what the fans are expecting, which is a complete game that's optimised, that works well with constant upgrades, new maps, new lot of stuff. Let's hope they can do it for the fans who are sticking around and just get rid of all those cheats as well, because there's a lot of issues facing PUBG and it's kind of crunch time. Whether are they going to pull through it, or they're just going to be one of those forgotten early access games that kind of nobody talks about in a few years. I'm sure people will still talk about it, but why? Why is the question? That's not a judgment. That's what are they going to be talking about?
Yeah,
why are they
yeah.
You know what I meant?
Yeah.
And finally, Star Citizen has been in development for almost 6 years now, and there's still no release date in sight. Although you can buy into the game's early access period through the purchase of various ship packages, which start from as little as $45. However, if you want absolutely everything the game has to offer, then that will set you back $27,000. Developer Cloud Imperium Games recently made a new package available for purchase called the Legatus Pack, which contains 117 in-game ships, 163 extra items, and various skins. Being priced at $27,000, the Legatus Pack is clearly meant for only the richest of whales. But to even look at the pack, you must have already spent $1,000 on Star Citizen. Star Citizen already has over $200 million in development funds, but the developers carry on taking pledges from backers despite not having a release date and perpetually missing project deadlines. Now, this is again one of those divisive games that people love to hate and hate to love. No, that doesn't make sense.
I'd hate to love it if it cost me 27 grand. Yeah, that's for sure.
This is not ridiculous. Isn't it ridiculous, Jake?
It's
how many ships do you need?
Yeah, it's weird. People
ships.
are like, you can spend, let people spend their money how they want, and it's like,
it's choice, free choice, freedom of choice.
Sure, but just please explain to me why. I don't even know 100 odd people. If I bought this, I don't know what I'd do with all these ships. Sell them on to try and make some of my 27 grand back. But if I was going to spend 27 grand on a game, clearly I don't care about money.
You just don't care about money.
It's madness to me. But there are a lot of people out there who are space whales, you know what I mean? Whatever. I'm sure people spent more money on EVE Online and shit. It shouldn't be normalised. It's weird, this, man.
27 grand. It seems ridiculous to me. $27,000 on some in-game content it's not even real. In a game that isn't even released yet, it sounds absurd. The problem for me is the fact that they've held the information behind a paywall, right? You can't get to see this pack unless you've already spent $1 grand. It smells fishy to me, because it's like they've sat there and they've thought, people are going to get upset by this, so let's only target the people who we've already milked enough, who might be willing to part with the money. It doesn't smell right to me. And if this game actually falls on its knees and never ends up coming out of, I'm sure it will, guys. You can calm down in the comments, but I'm sure, if it doesn't actually get released, I've triggered so many people in this video, I'll just carry on. Carry on regardless. Then, what's the 27 grand got you? Absolutely nothing. But then again, like we said, if you're parting 27 grand on some digital content that you may or may never use fully, then, it's your lookout, I guess.
There might be something in the terms and conditions saying if the game doesn't come out, you get your money back, but we don't know because we haven't spent $1 grand to have a look at it. We've seen some information from somebody that has, you know what I mean? It's like one of those, it's like some Illuminati Freemason shit where you pay £100 just to get into a club to pay more money. It's like you have to pay to get in to pay more. It's, is this some sort of scheme by the New World Order?
Let's just balance this out. Star Citizen is still looking very good. It's still a very anticipated game for me. I still can't wait to play it, and it's still going to be awesome.
But at what
still
cost?
going to be awesome. But at what cost?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it all boils down to one thing. I've been saying it's weird, I've been saying it's suspicious. The reason I'm saying all that is because the game's not even out yet. So it's hard to swallow, because I can't think of any other sort of thing in the world where someone would ask for 27 grand outright, unless it's property development of something that's not been built yet. And if you've got enough money to spend in property development, do that instead, in my opinion. Still Star Citizen, I'm sure you're going to be a great game. See you in 2048.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game that was supposed to come out 4 years ago. Don't want to get into the politics of that. Enough people will already be attacking us for our views, but we're not anti-Star Citizen here. We're just pointing out something that we think is a bit dodgy. Star Citizen wish the best for it. We hope that Star Citizen does really well. However, 27 grand.
Why? So whether it's cyborgs, cheaters, or 116 spaceships. It's quite a lot that's been going on in the news this week. Why don't you let us know what you think of it all down below. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new around here. There's more content on the screen right here if you want to check some more out. There's also a link to our Patreon if you want to support the channel. Until then, we will see you next time. Bye bye.